Hey guys, just wanted to jump in here real quick and do a video that's a little bit longer than the videos that I normally do. If you have questions or if you're looking to find more information on chronic pain, if you want to know more about my journey, if you want to know what pain I experienced, what symptoms I experienced, a good resource is the Pain in the Past podcast. That's on Spotify, Apple, Google, you name it, it's out there. I also have a number of videos on YouTube as well as this one, so check out the playlist. Maybe there's something specific in there that'll be helpful to you. So let's go back to when I was 14, right? 14, that was a long time ago for me. 14 was my first year of going to high school, and I noticed that I had back pain one day. I was a really heavy kid. I probably weighed somewhere around 270 pounds when I was starting high school. So I'm about 6 feet tall. I'm 270 pounds. I'm going to high school. I wear glasses. So as you can imagine, that's kind of one of those things where you're like, holy shit, my whole life is changing. I had some body issues. I thought my weight was way more than it should be. I hated the fact that I wore glasses. Like you name it, I had a lot of stuff going on in my mind emotionally, and I went to high school. So I think when I started having back pain at that age, I just naturally thought, hey kid, it's because you're fat. You can't move the way other kids move. You're carrying around 3 or 4 or 5 times the amount of weight as other people. So I just attributed back pain to, hey, you got back pain, deal with it. I started standing, a little bit differently so that my back wouldn't hurt. Fast forward to, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, I went to a chiropractor, I went to a pain doctor, and they noticed that my body is kind of like this. So one shoulder is higher than the other. That's from me standing that way when I was younger. Standing like this so that my back didn't hurt kind of had me grow that way, or should I say, this way. So as time went by and I looked back at pain, which was shoulder pain, rotator cuff pain, neck pain, knee pain, a little bit of hip pain, foot pain, swelling in my feet, swelling in my hands, chapped lips, runny nose, frequent urination. Let's see what else. What else? What else? Oh, and probably most recently, 5-ish years ago, allergic reactions to all things dairy. I've eaten dairy my entire life. Everything. Drank milk, ate eggs, ate cheese, butter, you name it. All of a sudden, one day, coffee creamer causes some issues, some pain, some swelling. And then, a week later, I have eggs and I get the same thing. And then I have bread with butter and I get the same thing. So I notice a pattern and I'm like, all right, well, I'm just not going to have dairy. Have dairy because it's in a lot of things. And I would always find that I had pain when I had something that I didn't know dairy was in. Go to the allergist. They can't find anything. They put all kinds of dairy all over my body, in my body, on my body, nothing. No allergic reactions whatsoever. Bizarre, right? So I'm thinking, okay, what is going on here? So when I look back over the years from, I say, age 14 to now, there was always something going on in my life emotionally that caused me to have some type of pain. Whenever it was like, oh, I got this shoulder pain, it would be something going on in my life. I got this neck pain, it would be something going on in my life. I got this swelling or these Pins and needles. Oh, yeah, heart palpitations. I had heart palpitations. I guess they started somewhere around age 26. And age 26, I moved out of my parents' house. I got my own apartment. I was driving about an hour to get to work. So it's like all of these things that are life changes, things that are a little bit scary, things you're unfamiliar with, a new, a fairly new job, a new apartment, a new area, not having my friends and family. So I got heart palpitations. What was that about? That was about the emotional distress that I was going through and my brain thinking, oh, hey, he can't handle this. So it sent a sensation, it sent a symptom, or it sent pain. And that pain in this particular situation was heart palpitations. My heart would jump, it would beat really fast, it would skip a beat, all kinds of crazy things. And I think at that point in my life, I was a little bit hesitant to go to doctors. I didn't always go to the doctor because I thought if I go to the doctor, they're going to tell me something bad, which, I had to grow up. Now I know, well, you go to the doctor, they tell you what it is, and they fix it. So, anyway, 5 or 6 years later, I did wind up going to the doctor. They didn't find anything. They put the little heart monitor on, they gave me the stress test. Nothing's wrong with your heart, buddy. Maybe it just has palpitations. Great. So, over the years, not being able to find causes for the pain, not being able to find causes for allergic reactions or sensations or swelling or redness, it was just kind of like, well, what is actually going on here, right? The doctors aren't saying anything. It gets frustrating. I paid tons and tons and tons of copays going to doctors, going to specialists. Nothing was ever found. And the more you go to the doctor, the more you're just kind of like, well, this doctor must be missing something. So then you go to another doctor, and then you go to another doctor, and finally, you really feel helpless, you feel hopeless, and you don't know what's going on. So you figure if the doctors can't find anything, what's wrong with my body? Anyway, luckily, I did find information from Dr. Sarno. He did a book on back pain. I thought back pain is not really my issue now, but it has been my issue off and on throughout the years. I was going to chiropractic. I did notice if I was going to the chiropractor, say every Tuesday or every other Tuesday, around Sunday before my appointment, my back would start to hurt. So my initial thought was, oh yeah, well, that makes sense because it's time for me to go to the doctor. They're going to do it. He's going to adjust something. It's chiropractic. I'm probably out of alignment and I need to be fixed. The more I did that over and over and over, the more I thought about it. And I'm like, is it really that my back is out of whack? Or is it just my brain anticipating that I'm going to go and creating this pain? So I stopped going to the chiropractor and I didn't need to go to the chiropractor. It was kind of like once I skipped going that Tuesday and it hurt on Tuesday and Wednesday, it kind of didn't hurt on Thursday. But then, maybe weeks or months later, it would come back. But if I did the same thing and followed the same process again, I really didn't have back pain. So it took me, I would say 3 or 4 years to actually hone in and realize that the pain, the sensations, the allergic reactions were all part of the same problem. It wasn't just the back pain, it was the hip pain, the foot pain, the swelling, the runny nose, the chapped lips. Everything that was going on with me that didn't make any sense was all the same process, all the same cause, and that was tension myositis syndrome, or TMS, or mind-body syndrome, or I think there are so many names out there now, but Dr. Sarno's book on back pain basically let me know that it could be a lot more things than back pain. It could be all of the things that I was going through. So once I learned that and I started doing things to make myself aware of my emotions, make myself aware of what I was feeling, make myself aware of what I was thinking, it kind of made sense to me that the triggers of my pain were caused by something I was thinking, something I was feeling. And then looking back over time, of course, the life changes made a lot of sense, right? You know, you're moving out on your own. You're starting high school. You're wearing glasses. You're overweight. You're buying a house. You're going into a new relationship. You're breaking up or you're ending a relationship. You're traveling to a new place alone. You're getting laid off from your job. You had a car accident. You had an argument with a friend. Like all of these things started popping up in my mind, and I thought back to when did this pain start? And almost every single time that I had something going on that was pain or sensations or any type of allergic reactions, I could look at it and say, oh, yeah, that started when I bought the house. That started when I started that new job. That started when I broke up with that person. And it made a lot more sense to me that looking at my life, looking at what I was thinking and what I was feeling was actually causing my pain. And then once I got all of that and I had all these pains and all these symptoms, I was afraid of the pain. So now I work on my emotions, I work on my thinking, I work on my awareness, and the pain is still there. And I'm thinking, okay, I've dealt with childhood trauma, I've dealt with activated emotions, I've dealt with my feelings, I've dealt with all kinds of things to get me out of like the emotional side of it. So what is actually going on now? Turns out it was simply fear of pain. So there wasn't anything to do with any emotions. I wasn't thinking bad things about myself or about people. I was thinking about pain. I was afraid of pain. I was afraid to go up and down stairs. I was afraid to go away for the weekend. I was afraid to go to a party. If I was in pain and it was Monday, I would be thinking about Tuesday or thinking about Friday. So, in essence, fear, afraid of pain, and the fear of the pain and thinking about the pain kept the pain coming back, kept the pain hanging around. And I noticed that if I thought about it and I said, okay, this makes sense to me, there's no reason for this pain to be here, then my brain would either intensify the pain and make it worse, or my brain would make the pain stay around longer. So if it was something that I had for 2 or 3 days on average, now that I'm aware of what's going on, the brain keeps it around for maybe 4 or 5 days. Or maybe if it was a pain that was like a 3 or a 4 on a 10 scale, my brain would kick it up to a 7 or 8 or a 10 on a 10 scale. So be aware of what's happening, be aware of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, but also be aware of how smart your brain is. Once you learn that it's TMS or once you learn that it's mind body syndrome and you start working through it, your brain is going to do something different that you don't know, that you're not aware of to trick you. And the second you fall back into the loop and you get afraid because you have something new, or you get afraid because you have something that lasts longer than normal, it's like the brain says, oh, I got you. And you continue in that loop until you finally get it. And getting it is understanding that you don't need to dig up emotions. You don't need to dig up your past. You don't need to figure out your thoughts. You just have to make sure that you're not afraid of pain. You're not thinking about pain. And you're not looking out into the future assuming that you're going to be in pain. Assume that you're going to feel good. Assume that you're going to be moving fine. And keep those thoughts running in your mind. That's the key. For more information on this specifically, listen to my podcast, Episode 1 in the Pain in the Past podcast on Spotify. If you're experiencing this and you need help or you have questions, comment below and let me know. I'll help you out. Thanks for listening.